We are really excited today. I am Reverend Erica Van Brakel, the Director of Ministry Life, and I am really excited to talk to you about where we have been with Ministry Life and where we are going, all right? So as you know, we launched the platform for ministry professionals a few years ago, and ever since then, and especially throughout the pandemic, we have listened and we have asked questions, and we have heard from you about what you need in that next version of Ministry Life. And so, yes, that's right. So we got some fans in the audience. I like that. Absolutely. And so it has been a journey, folks, right? It absolutely has. But there are certain things that we are absolutely committed to. And so we want to share a couple of those things and a couple of little sneak peeks about where we are going, what that's going to look like. So we are absolutely committed still to this day and forever and ever to having that awesome profile system that is a part of us historically. Of course, some of you know it as ABPS, right? Back in the day, the papers, all of that fun stuff, right? Having to send us the paper copies of all your CEUs. Well, no longer do you have to do that. When we launched Ministry Life, we made that a whole lot easier, but we want to make it even easier. But we are committed that that is always going to be a part of the platform. We are also very much committed to continuing the job boards, but the job boards have historically been more for those interested in the pulpit ministry, right? Those who wanted a job as a traditional church pastor, preacher, that sort of thing. We want to continue to expand that with internship opportunities, residencies, to be able to find chaplaincy opportunities and CPE programs. So we are continuing to expand our horizon on that job board. And of course, communities. Throughout the pandemic, we learned how important it was to be in community with one another. And we continue to want to be in community digitally and in person, and we're going to have some new ways in which you're going to be able to do that on the platform. And then, of course, our continued support for the regions and for the work that we do. I always say that we work best when we are all together, when the local church, the region, and the national levels are working together. That is when we are at our best. And we all have different roles to play in things like job search and process call things. So yes, we are absolutely continuing to pledge to be a part of the regions and continue that support. All right, do I have one more slide? Oh, I get to introduce Meg Biddle, who you've seen up here quite a few times, and we are excited to share about what's new. All right, Meg, take it away.
Okay, so it's me. What's new? Where's my present? Like, it's like, hey, look what I'm getting. Our new engagement strategy. Okay, so engagement, that's what's important here is us as communities. So while some things will change, we also have the new. So individuals. You're individuals. Everybody has an individual profile. That's still going to be there. Individuals think you're individuals like your individual churches as well. And then also our groups. So you can take your individuals like your individual churches and you can use our group feature to make a community. So your church could put together a Bible study. Your region could put together a community and have all those churches there. Your organization, we care about your interests. You could also do it based on where you are located geographically. There's all sorts of different ways that you can form a community using the group feature. We also the associations. Your associations are going to be like our partners, our regions, our denominations. So not just ABC, partner with people like CBF and others. The profile system is not going away, but yes, it's gonna look different. we use the term more professional profile than the ABPS. Yes, there will still be the section for ABPS, but as you expand, things are going to change a little bit, and change is good. So there will be your MinistrElife program or profile, and then you have the ABPS, what we know historically as ABPS, which is where I live and work all day long, and then your custom association profile. So perhaps that would be somebody like our friends in the CBF who have a profile there. Also, let me not forget our chaplains, our specialized ministers, all of those wonderful people who are doing things that are the non-traditional roles have a place where they can really explain what it is that they do and be honored for that hard work that you all do. There will be new opportunities. Yes, the job board is still going to exist, but we want those things, more opportunities for internships. What do you got that's out there? Ministry is changing. We all know this. And so we want there to be an opportunity for people to share these things that they have. You got a job on your church camp staff? Put them up there. We don't just pastors. Put your chaplaincy job, put your specialized minister job, you name it. We all welcome it there. Volunteer positions, educations, co-ops, internship. You can read this. You guys are educated people. You're smart. But it's not. Think of more. That's the way I'm thinking about this. Is we're going from something that has been traditionally this smaller, very localized piece, and just expanding upon that and making it something far greater, with so many more opportunities, not just the traditional. Okay, so our subscription model is going to change. We admit and we know that with this current iteration, it has been confusing. Do I pay? Do I not pay? What do I pay? Do I need to pay $10 to update? No, you don't need to pay $10 to update. So there's always going to be a free version of this. Hear me say that. There will always be a free version of this. But there will also be what are we calling that?
What are we calling that, Saeed? Premium.
A premium version. There will also be a premium version, and also, your opportunities for pay per posting opportunities for the job board. So think of people that might post a job on, like we post a job on Indeed, those kind of things. That's where we're talking about pay per posting for those job opportunities. There is so much here, you guys. Customized portals, custom memberization. I just can't wait until it comes so that you can see everything that it has to offer. And then you'll go, okay, I get this. I get why they haven't shut up about this for the last, 2 years since we started, is because there's just so much there. And I just think of it this is about different ways to include so many more people, so many more groups, so many more opportunities, so many more ways to support folks serving in ministry.
That's a question. Will you all be pushing out any content, or will you have to come to you to find out what you're offering?
Saeed will get into that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Am I doing content? Content experiences. I'm doing that right.
You want to talk about that?
Okay, so content experiences. So we've got the short text, the images. You want to talk about it? You get so excited about this.
He does get excited.
He does get really excited about that. It's your terms, and you just.
All right. Hey, everybody. My name is Saeed Richardson. I'm the Chief Technology and Information Security Officer at American Baptist Mission Society. And in my role, I have the job and the joy and the pleasure and the pain and the burden of leading all development efforts for rebuilding MinistrElife in its next iteration. And that's both in the web formation as well as in the mobile application as well. So we've been hard started work since about late February, early March, bringing the current version into its beginning iterations. One of the key features that we believe when it comes to experiencing and using MinistrElife is that we want to be able to share our experiences. Basically, everything is about, we live in a day and age, particularly in a ministry environment, where our stories matter, our experiences matter. And so we've sort of taken that metaphor and brought it into MinistrElife. And so you have a way of sharing your stories, your experiences in many different ways. So the first way, just go back one screen, go back. There we go. You have the ability to share your experiences in quick jots. So think about like Twitter, think about a really quick 250-word statement or less, a prayer, a thought, an inspiration that you can send out to someone else. You also have the ability to share that experience through clips. And so think of like YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, TikToks, integrated into the application as well. Vertical video is a really big experience in all social media platforms. It's here in MinistrElife as well. And then for longer experiences that can be, we want to share a sermon, a Bible study, a long thought, a longer writing. You can do that through formal stories, long form content, all being built into the application itself. And so I get excited about that because you've got jots, clips, and stories, and those metaphors are sort of taking their formation over the course of time. So let's keep on going. We're going to talk a little bit more about the development process and how things are sort of happening behind the scenes. For those who have seen the musical Hamilton, this is how the sausage is made. Let's keep on going on. So like I said before, we've got a formalized web application as well. We have rebuilt everything from the ground up. Okay? So we haven't just taken old code and old software and an old application and just sort of tried to put a fresh coat of paint on it. From the bottom up is being rebuilt. The web application will work on all sizes. So everything from a very small size to a tablet size to a full-fledged web application in your browser, and the screen will naturally flow back and forth between all those browser sizes. In addition to that, we're also developing a mobile application as well. So the mobile application, this is a big deal. Somebody just give me a round of applause for MinistrElife being on your phone.
Woohoo!
Come on now.
Yes.
One thing that we know about how people use the internet nowadays is that the one thing that everybody uses, regardless of their age, is their phone. And we've gotten to that point in time. And so we want to make sure that from the beginning that we're committing to both Android and Apple iStore, Apple OS, Apple Store as a part of the application. And so as we're going through the process, Meg, Erica, and I are all testing on both Android and an iOS with all of our QA teams and everything. And so that's coming from the gate, coming out. You can use this thing on your phone anywhere and everywhere you go, and we're excited about that. Keep on going, Justin. So one of the questions that everybody always asks is, so what's the timeline? What's sort of going in there? I'm going to let you guys in on a G5 classified backdoor information right now. I can't tell anybody this. Okay, so this is all just between us and everybody who can hear my voice right now, okay? This is where we're looking and how we're shooting to go on. Now, that being said, because it's all G5 classified and backdoor and you can't tell anybody else, it may not necessarily be locked into stone. So if it changes, the rest of the world will know, just us right here, okay? All right, so with that being said, as we look forward to the development pipeline, we can see that right now we're here in June at the biennial. We're at the point where we're wrapping up and moving into July, where we are starting our first preview beta with select users. And so let me just say right there, right now, one of the really best practices when it comes to making software is you don't want to necessarily open up the floodgates to everyone all at once. Somebody say amen, right?
Amen.
All right, and so we want to do a small batch of testing at a time. And so starting in July, we'll actually begin to offset some of our testing and the experience to a small set of guests that are coming into the application. That'll happen in July. We're also in July, we're actually working on a number of features for that. Networking and communication and connectivity is a core part of the application. We want you to be able to network and connect with people through email, through text messages, through in-app notifications on your mobile devices, and also in-app notifications on your computer as well. And that's happening over the course of July. Keep going. As we move from August to September, Meg and Erica were both talking about our opportunities pipeline. And again, opportunities, we're sort of taking jobs and put it on steroids. So it's jobs and it's internships, co-ops, all those kind of things will be coming out. We're looking to bring those out between the August and September pipeline. Moving into later in the fall, coming into September and October, that's when we're going to be looking at focusing and releasing our groups and community features. And like Meg was just saying, those groups and communities are allowing people with special interests, people geographically located together. Imagine coming to the next biennial, and then because you're on MinistrElife, you can immediately form a group of everyone that's at the current biennial right now. You can be able to share information, connections, all that great stuff that we like to do, so that your experience can persist beyond biennial. All those things will be built into this, starting in the September to October timeframe, moving into October and November. For our special partners and relationships that we have, some of you might know, we've got relationships with the Proctor Conference, all of our regions and regional ministers as well, being able to allow an opportunity for those special partnerships to have their own, if you will, employee association member part of the application as well. That comes in around the October and November timeframe, moving on into the rest of the year and beginning into January as well. We're also bringing on board promotions and people being able to provide specialized content that everybody can see and consume, also bringing into our subscription models as well. And along the way, we're slowly bringing more and more people into the fold to use the applications that by the time we get into January, the first quarter of next year, we can have an experience that everybody can have a good time using and not have to worry about the technology getting in the way of an experience. Somebody say amen.
Amen.
Somebody say hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Somebody say next slide. All right. All right, so one of the big questions that we've been talking about, we've had to engage, is why come to MinistrElife in a world full of social media all over the place? And I know right now, some of you got experiences in Facebook, some of you use TikTok, some of you use Instagram, some of you use Twitter, some of you using all those, and some of you using things that I haven't even talked about. Why should I be coming to MinistrElife from my experience? It's a great question. I'm glad you asked, and I think there are a few reasons why you might want to consider this that you can also share with other people as well. So the first one is that we are 100% committed to not sharing your information with anyone. How many folks know that right now you're on Facebook, you're on Twitter, you're on Instagram, that your information can be up and shared, and your information already has been up and shared with folks and organizations and companies and businesses you don't even know about. We're not doing that. And so the very first thing that we're committing to is not to share your information. All these other places, your metadata, you are the product that's being sold, whether you realize it or not. That's not going to be the case here. We're not sharing any of your information beyond what you choose to share with people at your own leisure. And with that being said, we're also committed to security as well. So that's security in terms of how the application is used and accessed, but also security in terms of how you join and connect with other organizations. And so there's this concept that we're calling handshaking. And so if somebody wants to be a part of your network and you want to be a part of theirs, they can't just come and jump into your network without your permission, and you can't just come in and they can't go into your network without your permission, and you can't go into the network without their permission. Making sure that when you're going to engage in a new network, a new community, a new group, that there's a handshaking process that goes back and forth, and making sure that it's secure and safe for whoever you are and how you're associating with as well. This one I'm really excited about. This is the geek coming out of me. So let me just pause for a second and say, enter a specific geek moment right here. And the geek moment is that we're also developing an algorithm. When I say algorithm, you know that there's a YouTube algorithm. You know there's a Facebook algorithm. You know there's a Twitter algorithm. There's an Instagram algorithm. There's a computer code behind the scenes that determines who rises to the top of the list, whose information gets featured, who shows up in your feed when you're looking at it. Information. Everybody know that, right? Yep. Well, now you do. All right. So one of the things that we're doing, we're really concerned with making sure that your experience is safe and secure, but it's also positive as well. And so built into the process, we're actually building in a positive engagement and sentiment scoring system that ranks content based on how positive it is to pull into the system. Every other social media network is all focused on engagement, whether it's positive, negative, basically whatever's going to cause the most people to bring it to the forefront. We're focused on making sure we have a positive experience that everybody in your family, everybody in your church, everybody in your community can experience, not just sensationally, but positively through what we do. We're also committed to communities. What's interesting is that we talk a lot about how a lot of younger folks aren't using Facebook because it's older folks are using it and things of that sort. But what's interesting is there actually is one feature that most folks of all ages are using in Facebook, and it's actually the group feature. All the other social platforms really don't have a way for you to form a group together in the context of a social experience. And that's part of the reason that we like what we're doing with MinistrElife, because we're building groups, whether they're formal or informal, whether they're professional or not, whether they are for your church or anything else around it. You can bring those groups together in much the same way that you might have done in Facebook, here in the space as well. That's 100% safe and committed to not sharing your information. And lastly, there's a research-based need for faith-based software like MinistrElife. We've done a lot of research on the background. I've done a lot of presentations. We've had consultants out the yin-yang coming and giving us information in terms of what we're doing in the faith-based landscape, in the job and opportunities landscape, in the social media landscape. And what we're finding is that there's a space, there's a niche right here for faith-based nonprofit software coming into a place that's safe and secure. Your information is not being shared with anything else, and just a place where you can be who you are without worrying about nefarious things happening along the way. And so we think that's a really great opportunity, not just for folks here in the American Baptist world, but beyond, and what we call the professional ministry network world that everybody can be engaged with. Somebody say amen, right?
Amen.
All right, people are still with us. So with that being said, do we want to have questions? Do we want to have questions? We got time?
Question?
So we're here together. We've been talking a little bit. If you got a question, we can entertain them. I think a question earlier was.
There you go. Yes, I think.
Oh, we're going to push some information out to you. Okay, great. Yeah. Yes. So the question was, what if I want to raise a difficult question, and the difficult question makes the positivity score of the algorithm get affected? That's a really great question. The algorithm is actually not a set in stone thing. With most algorithms, it takes time to train them, and so part of the process over the course of probably the first year or so, is actually going through and teaching the algorithm that something can be weighty and heavy, even controversial, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's negative in the process. And so the long and short is that we're actually going through the process of training the system on the back end to recognize what's horrible versus what's challenging. Yeah. Great question, though. All righty. It does it.
No, it doesn't.
And one of the great advantages that we have is that we're coming into AI and algorithm development without having content. And so we're building from the ground up versus places like Facebook that have been running for years. And so they're having to take and tweak what they've been doing with what AI is now available to do through machine learning as well. All right, hashtag in the geek moment. I can speak regularly as well.
So I'm an old guy. I'm coming to the end of my current career.
Yep.
Why would I want to stay engaged as a soon-to-be retiree? What would be the benefits for me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can give you two, not just thoughts, but two real-life examples. I had a conversation in March with two gentlemen that were also retiring, same thing. Exactly, young guys like you, young guys that I want to be when I grow up too. The first instance, one young man was retiring, and he actually had this idea of basically coming together and having small groups, teaching and sharing his experiences and doing Bible studies that he really, really loved. And I was like, great, you have the opportunity of actually, say you want to start your own young guys Bible study group. You can actually form that group within MinistrElife. We actually have also integrated video conferencing built into it as well, integrated discussion boards, integrated feeds and everything too. So you can form a community where you can still do that information from the comfort of your home or wherever else you want to be too. And so you can do it online, you can do it offline, and both in the same space and have it all there.
Would that be something that's monetized?
That's definitely a conversation we can talk about.
Let's say I happen to do a training, virtual training, and if that was, that's an environment where I think that'll help for state. So, for example, our colleagues in ministry, might want to take a virtual mental health first aid class, and rather than go to an outside platform, offer something like that.
Yeah, that's great. So
that actually gets into our Center for Continuous Learning.
Forgive me one second.
Absolutely.
So the question was, can it be monetized and how that might happen? But go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we are absolutely excited that, CCL is both an in-person experience and an online experience. And that is already happening and it's going to continue to grow. And we are really excited about that opportunity. And I don't know if I'm going to steal your answer, but one of the things that we have definitely heard has been that, I was really connected and I knew what was going on within this great denomination of ours. And then I retired and it was like I fell off the face of the earth and I don't hear anything about what's going on. I don't know, where my friends are, all that sort of thing. We really see this as an opportunity to make sure that you are still connected. You bring your network. When we talked about handshaking, you go on the platform, you do that now while you're still, active in ministry. That doesn't just go away. And so your network is still there and you're still able to be in community with one another, to see the news, find out. And that other thing I have heard from some is that they get a couple years down into retirement and realize, I don't want to really be fully retired, but I'm looking for something that's maybe, 15 hours or so, that sort of thing. This is going to be a place where you are going to be able to see and find those opportunities that you might be able to get into. So those are some of the pieces that we see. What was your answer? Do you have another one?
Actually, no, I was going to the
Okay, we had the same one, but absolutely, great question.
So another really great example is that there's another gentleman who's already retired. His wife has a compendium of resources of Bible studies that she's collected over the years, and he was actually asking me, how do I get these things online? We also have a really comprehensive resource center. It's a part of the system as well, and so being able to upload all those Bible studies, have them both readable online, and also being able to play them back audibly online as well, and being able to share them with everybody else in ministry as well. It's opportunities right there too.
I would say, like, for me, when I came into full-time ministry, my region had 7 associate regional pastors for their ministry. Now we're down, unfortunately, to 1.5. And so it's very challenging.
Yeah.
And so for me to be able to reach out to people who have experience in the field and crowdsource that information. Hey,
Absolutely.
I'm about to start an interim. I've never done this before.
Absolutely.
You want to navigate running through the storms.
Exactly.
Right.
That kind of information.
Yes.
To be able to say, so somebody who would chat. So I'm on a national forum with other instructors in mental health first aid, and we're constantly like, hey, I just got this big grant. I have no idea how to do it.
Yeah.
Zoom with me and help me figure out how to do that. So I think those are the kind of things that exciting to me.
Yeah.
Who's already out there doing it now? I'm doing it in my social networks already, but to be able to do that with colleagues that are like-minded, like experience, like environments, and be able to ask, hey, who's doing this already? I don't want to get the wheel. Do you have a form? Do you have what you do wrong?
Right.
Those
Absolutely.
kinds of things would be very helpful to me and would make to be honest with you, the subscription price turned me away initially because I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
And I didn't perceive any,
Yeah.
specific value to me
Sure.
initially in the
Yeah.
consideration.
Yeah.
And so I'm just trying to think, like, I'd love to be engaged,
Yeah.
but I need to know that it's going to have value to me before you ask me for what is it
Absolutely.
money
Truly.
compared to other things.
Yeah. So big statement just for everybody who's online. We want to make sure that you have the value before we start talking about the money. We want to make sure that there's value there. It's been tested. It's been proven before we actually go through this subscription process. So that's the last part of the process as we get to there. Yep.
To sell bajillion-dollar computers,
Yep.
the logo was fill the value bucket before you quote the price.
Yes. Yep. Yep. All righty.
Sorry to
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Those are all good things. Okay.
While we're here, any other questions that folks might have? You got a question you want to ask? All righty. So with that, you want to
We
set us
are
out?
in the booth. We are here to answer your questions, and we are always available to help. And so please do share with your colleagues. Some folks are still finding out that you no longer have to actually send your information to us, believe it or not. So please do share this experience that you've had already about what's coming. And we are really excited as we look towards the future. You've got a great team here that is developing developing this second version of the MinistrElife platform.
Awesome.
Thanks all.
Alrighty.